talk about is insect life cycles and metamorphosis. So here's some examples of different insect life cycles. And insects tend to follow one of three different types of life cycles, or one of three different types of metamorphosis. So you have something like this called gradual metamorphosis, which is basically what a grasshopper does, where the juvenile, the baby, looks very similar to the adult, and there are some structural changes, but they're mostly growing bigger and gaining body mass as they mature. And then you have what's called incomplete metamorphosis, and this basically means the life cycle happens in three distinct stages. So, for example, we have the dragonfly. The mother dragonfly actually lays their eggs in water. So if you're looking at a pond or a lake or something, if you watch long enough, you'll probably see a dragonfly come, and they'll dip their tail in the water repeatedly. And each time they dip their tail in the water, they're actually depositing an egg. So the eggs are laid in water, and then out of the egg hatches what's called a nymph. I'll get this closer so y'all can see. So the nymphs live in the water. They're predators. They pretty much eat anything that will fit in their mouths that they see moving. Their favorite thing to eat are mosquito larvae, which is really helpful. So they'll spend some time in the water developing and mostly just growing bigger. And then when they get big enough, they'll crawl out of the water. They'll find a fairly secure, safe place on land, and their exoskeleton will start to harden, and they go through a transformation. So we can kind of see here, this is an exoskeleton that was left over after the adult dragonfly emerged. We can kind of see the very beginning nubs of wings. So their exoskeleton hardens, they stay, and they're very vulnerable in this state, so they can be preyed on pretty easily. And they go through this transformation, and then when they're ready, the exoskeleton starts to split open. So like the back of the head will split open, and the back splits open, and then out crawls the adult dragonfly. And their wings, just like a butterfly, come out kind of crumpled, and they have to kind of pump fluid in their wings, let their wings unfurl before they're able to fly away and start to find food. So dragonflies are actually really awesome, and let me show you guys a better example. So as you can see, here's a better dragonfly. Dragonflies are really awesome insects to have around because they eat tons of mosquitoes. They're very good predators. They eat other insects, and they catch their prey as they fly, and they actually eat on the go. So dragonfly legs, they're kind of covered with these tiny little hairs that allow them to grasp onto their prey and get a good grip, and then they just eat as they fly. And all of their wings, so dragonflies have 4 wings, and all of these wings, they can move independently of one another. So they can use them together, or they can move them independently to help them change direction. Dragonflies can fly up, down, forwards, backwards, to the side, vertically. They are actually one of the strongest flyers. So really awesome insects to have around. But they go through incomplete metamorphosis, where they have 3 distinct life cycle stages, as opposed to something like a butterfly, which we're really familiar with, where they go through 4 stages, where we have the egg, the larva, right? So for a butterfly, that would be a caterpillar, a pupa stage, so butterfly makes a chrysalis, and then the adult. And if we look, the juvenile stage, that larva stage, looks very different from the adult final form. So it goes through this much more dramatic change as a result of complete metamorphosis. So that's just a quick rundown of insect life cycles. Oh, one more thing I did want to say. With this life cycle, the incomplete metamorphosis life cycle, where we have the nymph stage, the juvenile stage, that lives in the water. A lot of other insects follow this same sort of life cycle. So not just dragonflies, damselflies, mayflies, a lot of insects that you would find around a pond. And you can actually tell the health of a pond by going through and looking for the nymph stages of these insects. And that's something that we get to do at the museum, and we'll hopefully start to do again very soon. So just another note on that. All right, so that's been a little bit about insect life cycles and metamorphosis, and we are going to look at some insect survival strategies next.